Hi, this is Garvey Campbell and you are watching Carnevale Network. We are here today to talk about Jouvert Morning. We wanted to put together a video for anyone out there who has never been to Jouvert Morning at Notting Hill Carnival. So keep watching, and this is going to be all about how you can get involved. Okay, to start with, Jouvert Morning, if you don't know, is the beginning of the parade. It's celebrated in many different countries as the beginning of the Carnival parade, and typically starts around about 4 o'clock in the morning. The term Jouvert Morning actually comes from French. Jouvert, I think I pronounced that correctly, basically means morning or break of dawn in French. There are many stories about how Jouvert got started and why it's celebrated. However, there's one underlying theme about Jouvert Morning, and that is everyone has fun and everyone gets messy. In Notting Hill, for Notting Hill Carnival, Jouvert Morning starts at 6 AM in the morning, unlike the 4 AM that most people have, and it starts at the corner of Ladbroke Grove and Kensal Road. So if you look that up on Google, you should be able to find it fairly easily. So to begin with, how should you get there? Now this might be a little bit difficult because of the time it starts, trains aren't running. So I'm going to run through a few of the ways that you can get down there and make sure you're there in time for Jouvert Morning. The first up is driving. Driving's a good option to go down there. It's not the best option if you're planning on drinking while you're there. Obviously, drinking and driving don't really mix. Other things that you might run into with regards to issues are where you can park. Parking can be a problem. And also, depending on where you park, you might have difficulty driving out, because by the time Jouvert's over, you know, a lot of the roads might be blocked off for you to get out easily. So keep that in mind. However, driving is a good option. As I said before, taking a train isn't really the best option. You can think about taking trains. Obviously, most trains start around about 6 AM in the morning. So if you're going to take trains, you know, plan your journey wisely and just bear in mind that you may get there a little bit after the action's already started. Unless you live locally, the most commonly used way of getting down there is actually to take bus. Night buses. You know, they run right the way through the night over here in London, and if you can plan your trip and get your bus times you know, sorted out accurately, getting down there shouldn't actually be much of a problem. It just takes a little bit of planning. So I definitely recommend looking into night buses for your way of getting down to Jouvert Morning. Okay, so let's say you've just turned up at Jouvert. The question is, what should I take to Jouvert Morning? I mean, how does it work? What are some good things to take down there? So I'm going to run through a few things that first timers should really think about taking down there. The very first is a drawstring bag. Now, one of the concerns obviously is any of your valuables that you take down there, you don't want them to get damaged. So if you take a drawstring bag, you can get a cheap one, about £5–10, and put inside of that drawstring bag a plastic bag. That will mean that anything that you put inside that plastic bag basically won't get messy, won't get wet, and it will be protected. It also means though that you can pop it on your back and your hands are free to engage in all the fun. Next up, for the people who will be drinking and imbibing alcohol down there, I would definitely recommend that you get yourself a plastic sports bottle. Now there are a number of reasons for this. A plastic sports bottle is lighter than glass, so that's obviously a benefit. The other thing as well is that you can refill it as and when. So when you're starting to run low on your alcohol, you can just pop open the lid, refill it with whatever you're drinking, and carry on. And in addition, one of the most important things about getting a plastic sports bottle is that your drink will be protected from all of the paint and the powder and everything that's flying all over the place at Jouvert Morning. There's nothing worse than going to Jouvert Morning, having your cup in hand, and then having some paint go in there and just contaminate it so you can't drink it anymore. So plastic sports bottle, definitely make sure you get that and take that down there if you're a drinker. The next thing that you should take down there if you are a first timer is eye protection. Now for your second, third and fourth times, you know, you may or may not choose to wear eye protection, but for your first time I definitely recommend it. It gives you the chance to basically keep your eyes open, see what's going on, as well as participate as well without having to worry about anything getting into your eyes or anything like that. One of the main reasons I always suggest goggles though for first timers is because there is a lot of activity going on at Jouvert Morning. There's a lot of crazy stuff that you'll see, a lot of fun to be had, and you don't want to miss any of it. You don't want to blink. So we're bringing some goggles to protect your eyes is a must. But one thing I definitely recommend that you take down there if it's your first time. In addition to goggles, I'd also recommend that you take down a boiler suit. Now, boiler suits, you can get those online or at hardware stores for like £5. And basically they'll cover whatever you're wearing. So when paint's flying around and powder's flying around, it'll mean that you're basically covered head to toe pretty much, because many of them have hoods as well. So get yourself a boiler suit. It means that you can go down to Jouvert Morning, combined with your goggles, it means you're pretty much well covered. You can get involved, have a look around, see what's going on, see how it works, have fun. And at the end of Jouvert Morning, you can literally take off your boiler suit and you'll pretty much have very little paint, powder or whatever it is on your body or on your clothes. So boiler suit, a recommended must for anyone going to Jouvert Morning for the first time in Notting Hill. Another thing I'd like to add as well is if you have long hair, make sure that you wrap it up. Get yourself a head wrap, make sure that that is wrapped up tight, because you know, getting paint, powder and all of the kind of stuff that's going to be flying around out of your hair, if you've got long hair after Jouvert Morning, is going to be an absolute nightmare. You don't want to be wasting any time after Jouvert Morning's over. You know, after you wash, you don't want to be wasting time washing all of that stuff out of your hair. So make sure you get a head wrap or a hair wrap of some kind, and make sure your hair is protected if you've got long hair. Definite recommended must for first timers. Okay, so with all of that said, what should you wear for Jouvert Morning? So I would always recommend going in the back of your closet, digging out some old trainers and some old clothes. I do know obviously that I said that you should take a boiler suit, but even with the boiler suit, there is a high probability that you are going to get some paint, powder or whatever on the clothes beneath your boiler suit anyway. So I'd recommend taking old trainers, you know, old clothing. You're not going down there to floss or essentially look good. You're going down there to have fun. So, you know, take something out of the closet that you don't mind getting messy, getting annihilated. You know, you're going to wear it at Jouvert Morning once and then throw it away. That is what I would recommend to wear at Jouvert Morning. A big part of your focus should be on your footwear, because it needs to be comfortable. And it needs to be something that you don't mind throwing away, because of all of the things that you're going to experience there, and they're going to get messy. Your footwear is probably going to get the most messy, because everything that's flying around is subject to gravity, and there's a large proportion of it that's going to end up on whatever you're wearing on your feet. So trainers that you don't mind getting thrown away, definitely recommend it. Okay, so you also know that I'm no fan of people who just go to spectate. Whilst I do understand you may want to go down there just to see what the hell it's all about, but if you're planning to get involved, a couple of the things that you should maybe take with you if you want to engage in all of the fun and the throwing around of messy stuff, things like flour or powder are good places to start, or water-based paints as well. Those are good options for you if you want to have something to hand, to, you know, if you want to get in there, throw stuff around, really enjoy yourself and get stuck in and do it as though, you know, you're a veteran. That's what I'd recommend you take down there. Make sure that you avoid taking anything down there that might cause any kind of discomfort around the eyes or the skin. After going to Jouvert once, you should get an idea of other things that you could possibly take down there outside of you know, flour, powder and water-based paint. But those items are a good place to start if you want to get involved and have some more fun. Okay, so there are a few more things that would be good for you to know. One of them is that although I've told you where it starts, it's good to know that once the parade starts, it goes from the top of the road towards Ladbroke Grove train station. If you arrive there a little bit late, look around, can't see anything going on, don't panic. What I'd recommend is get onto Ladbroke Grove, look at the ground. If you see paint or any mess on the ground, it means they've passed you. So you need to head away from the starting point. If you look on the ground and can't see anything at all, head towards the starting point. That's the best way of finding out where you are or where the group is who is celebrating Jouvert Morning. on Jouvert morning. Also, I'd highly recommend that you have a planned route for the way that you're getting home. Obviously, the fact that you might be a little bit messy may have implications with regards to if you're driving home or taking public transport. So have a plan for how you're getting home, and also have a plan about how you're going to bathe, how you're going to wash. You may have a bit of a job of it. You know, Jouvert, as I said, is crazy. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that's part of the fun. But have a plan on how you're going to bathe. I would highly recommend a shower, and always check yourself in the mirror after you jump out of your shower or bath. Quite often, just when you think that you've got all of the paint or powder or whatever it is off of you, you'll check the mirror and you'll find something that you've missed. So always make sure you check the mirror after you've bathed after Jouvert morning. Last but not least, after you've gotten home after Jouvert morning, you've washed off all of the paint, powder, whatever it is that's on you, and you are heading back to Carnival. Make sure that you've got a planned place where you're meeting up with your friends if there's a group of you, because Carnival is not going to look the way it did during Jouvert morning. During Jouvert morning, it's so early that, you know, we've got the streets are ours. You know, you'll see a couple of policemen there setting up barriers, maybe a couple of people from the ambulance teams there, but by and large the streets are ours because of the time of morning. But when you get back, it's, you know, by the time you get back, it's going to be crazy. There's going to be loads of people all over the place. So make sure you've got a set place where and a set time where you're going to meet all of your friends when you get back to Carnival to enjoy the rest of your Carnival Sunday. So we hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Garvey Campbell, and you are watching Carnevale Network. We'll see you next time. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Carnevale Network, on Twitter at CarnivalNet, and check out our website, carnivalnetwork.co.uk.